taking on bureaucrats and corporations that would stand in the way of health freedom and making sense out of medical propaganda. The voice of health, freedom, and liberty, Robert Scott Bell.
It is a very important story, and it's something that a lot of people are talking about, and it has to do with medical marijuana. We've talked about medical marijuana for a long time.
Yep.
We don't advocate people going out being stoners, okay?
What was that?
Not that we wouldn't allow people the right to do that if they choose to, but
it's ganja, it's cannabis. Remember, they changed it to marijuana because they thought, it's Hispanic. That way, we can use our prejudice against Hispanic people as Americans to do that. I mean, there's been a big agenda against cannabis because what? It threatened the cotton industries. It threatened the petrochemical industries. It threatened so many. Medicinal. It threatens medicine, modern medicine. It threatens pharmaceuticals. I mean, we can go on and on. It threatens food, nutrition, the most omega-3 rich land-based food you can imagine. Best fat balance, amazing. So, yes, we've got a lot to deal with this issue. But, of course, the controversy surrounds its use as a medicine. That's the big thing, at least now it is. Even though cannabis is far less dangerous than alcohol or tobacco, probably combined. What are the stats here?
If you look at the statistics, whether it's alcohol or cigarettes, those two ththings kill way more people than cannabis does.
50,000 people die each year from alcohol poisoning. Come on. Similarly, more than darn near 500,000, 400,000 deaths each year attributed to tobacco smoking. Of course, here we would acknowledge that the least of the ingredients in tobacco smoke is tobacco, but suffice it to say that tobacco, wacky tobacco, no. The wacky tobacco is the tobacco that they're saying is tobacco. That's not. That's what's wacky, not the cannabis. And by comparison, marijuana, or cannabis I like to call it, non-toxic, cannot cause death by overdose. I mean, you'll be like so stoned out of your mind, you'll just be hungry. Give me some food. But according to the prestigious, now we're getting prestige here, European medical journal, The Lancet, the smoking of cannabis, not my words, it's theirs, even long-term, is not harmful to health. It would be reasonable to judge cannabis as less of a threat than alcohol or tobacco. Now, I am not advocating smoking. I was saying if you're going to use cannabis medicinally, I want you to eat it. I want you to make it into an herbal tincture because that is the way we were designed to get this stuff. I don't think inhaling hot smoke is a great idea, although I understand the reason for them promoting it that way.
Sure. And there are other ways to do it. I mean, whether you're ingesting it or, another technique that's used is called vaping, which avoids the damage that can be done by smoke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's different ways that people do it. And you take a look at the other things that are being used as medicine right now.
Oh.
And they don't want to allow marijuana to be used as a medicine. It's ridiculous. It's hypocrisy.
Ridiculous,
but the other statistic, Robert, that's really I think more significant when you're comparing whether marijuana should be illegal or not is the crime aspect of it.
Well, I mean, listen, how many people are committing crimes because they're high on cannabis? I mean, they're at home eating munchies. I mean, I don't even hear about them going to hold up the 7-Eleven to get munchies.
No, everybody's your friend.
No, your friend. Yeah, exactly. It's a peaceful thing. It's let's say Buffalo Soldiers. We get back into Bob Marley stuff. I mean, yes, you can have a purpose with all of this, but it tends not to be violent. And then they're trying to claim that it was marijuana that caused people to become flesh-eating zombies when we've learned about these weird synthetic bath salts that people are doing.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with it.
Absolutely. Synthetic designer drugs.
But then again, the economy, we desperately need the $10 billion annually that are being spent on arresting more than, 853,000 individuals per year. $10 billion with a B.
With a B is what it's costing the taxpayers to arrest people. And did you see the number on how many people are arrested each year for marijuana?
What is it? 853,000?
853,000 individuals a year. And the thing that blows your mind on the statistic is that number, 853,000, is more than people that are arrested for murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault combined.
Yeah, of course, this is to prop up the corporatocracy again. We come back to the corporate control of government. You have private prisons now that depend upon this flow of prisoners, and the federal and state governments just are feeding into the system, and they profiting off of this so-called that's where I say privatization. Yeah, I'm all about privatization, but in this case, you have corporatization. You have corporate tyranny. You have fascism in play here. And yet in Oakland and in California, where they have medical cannabis dispensaries, I think one of the largest ones here, this was the big news. Thousands of patients were threatened to lose this safe access because the U.S. Attorney and the DEA are threatening Harborside Health Center landlords with property forfeiture. Like they need more. Well, the federal government, they're just going, hey, let me take that property because you are violating the federal edict against cannabis. Yet there's nowhere in the Constitution, the federal Constitution, that allows them to regulate or limit. That's a state issue. The people of California have spoken, and many other states as well.
It is. We could go into states' rights, which we talk about, quite often. But, the state of California has voted. The people have spoken, and they want marijuana to be accessible for medical uses.
Yeah.
And there are laws and regulations and permits and licensing that has to go into place in order for them to be able to do that. Now, the thing that's got people so upset here is that Eric Holder, not that long ago,
Eric Holder, yes, Attorney
came
General,
out
fast
and
and furious,
that the federal government would not go after marijuana dispensaries as long as they were not in violation of the state laws. And
as far as we know, Harborside is not in violation of any state law. They're in full compliance.
They are not. They're in total compliance with state law.
Look, this tells me the Obama administration is as invested in health freedom as the Bush administration before it. There ain't no difference. Nothing. Not a bit of difference. In fact, it's even more duplicitous because at least Obama went in and said, hey, we're not going to mess with you on this. Eric Holder said, we're not going to mess with you on this. And look what they're doing. Messing with them on this. Why? They want to confiscate stuff. They want to own stuff. They want to control stuff. They want to sell stuff. The federal government is absolutely desperate. They're going down. The ship is going down. And Obama administration doesn't give a flip about you in California. Doesn't give a flip about you in Colorado. They just want to be able to forfeit. They want your stuff. And this is the way they're going to get it.
And, I want to know, where's Governor Jerry Brown on this? I would be interested to see what he has to say about this because California is in a horrible financial situation.
Yep.
They are on the verge of bankruptcy.
Their cities are declaring bankruptcy right, left, and center. And look at Harborside Health Center out there. What do they employ? Over 100 people. Oakland's second largest retail taxpayer. Good Lord, that's all they need to do. I guess the feds want California to go down. It's not like they're doing a great job without the feds trying to do this anyway. But man, oh man, this is only going to accelerate it. $3 million in taxes they paid. Over $1 million went directly to the city of Oakland. Oakland should be, declaring war on the federal government at this point because the federal government has declared war on Oakland.
Yep. And, at a very good point that they make here is that should they close Harborside, what are you looking at doing? You've got 100,000 patients that they serve.
Yep.
Where are these people going to go in order to get the medical marijuana? They're going to go back into the illegal marketplace. Yeah. They're going to go back on the streets and get this stuff illegally.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that going to do? What impact is that going to have? They point out street drug sales and law enforcement costs are going to rise because you've now got 100,000 people that were following the law, that were going with their prescriptions, that were getting it for medicinal purposes, that are going to need to get their medicine. Anyway, and so what's that going to do? That's going to have an impact on the local communities. It's going to have an impact on law enforcement. $3 million in tax revenue, that's a lot of money. And California really could use that right now.
Exactly. I know. Pull the rug out.
The 100 plus employees they've got, now they're looking for jobs as well.
Oh, yeah. Harborside. Steve D'Angelo, he's the executive director of Harborside Health Center, and he has basically said this is a policy that hurts not only those who depend on cannabis for medicine, it will destroy, just as you said, Super Don, tax revenue, endanger patients, increase unemployment, and empower criminals. Whoever thinks this is a good idea must be smoking something a lot more powerful than cannabis. I think we agree with D'Angelo on this for sure. And, of course, this is all about the federal government supremacy, playing power games with the states. They realize that the drug industry has the most to lose on the federal level, where they can lobby one area, the Food and Drug Administration or the Fear and Death Administration. And that's what this is all about.
The Robert Scott Bell Show.